Hi, I'm David.
And I'm Rachel.
Welcome to LeisureBit. And today we're coming to you from the George at Piercebridge, where we stayed overnight, free of charge, in the car park. So let's go and take a look around.
LeisureBit is the way to go with David, Rachel and Roxy. Let's hit the road and explore.
As well as staying over at the car park of the George in Piercebridge, we also went for some drinks on the evening, had some breakfast on the morning, learned about the grandfather clock. We then visited Piercebridge Roman Bridge, and finally, Rachel reminisces on her childhood in the lovely village of Melsonby. Let's pick up our journey, leaving the A67 and turning into Piercebridge. Heading in from this direction, we head through the village of Piercebridge, we cross the bridge, and then we turn into the car park, which is just past the George. If you're heading in from the A1 way, you'll likely come to the car park just before the George.
We're here today at the George car park, just behind me, at Piercebridge, where we're staying overnight.
It was free to overnight in the George car park, providing you were eating or drinking in the George. We were joined by Rachel's sister Nikki. The George has a fairly large car park, which is also shared with the car park for the walk down to the Piercebridge Roman Bridge. The car park has quite a few potholes, so just be careful as you're coming in and out and driving through the car park. The George is located next to Piercebridge, from which the village takes its name, the crossing over the River Tees. The river's changed course a little bit over the years, and you'll see when we're at the Piercebridge Roman Bridge where the river used to run. As well as being able to sit inside at the George, you can also sit outside overlooking the river. On the Saturday evening, that's what we chose to do, which was really nice. There was a number of tables, as well as an outdoor barbecue area, and there was some lovely flowers in the landscaping. It was a really lovely area to sit out and relax and watch the world go by. After a pleasant night's sleep, despite the thunderstorms which passed through, we went for breakfast in the George, which was absolutely delicious. The George is home to a famous grandfather clock. The clock was owned by two brothers and always kept really excellent time. One day, one of the brothers passed away. With it, the clock stopped. In the 1870s, an American songwriter visited the George and heard the tale of the clock. He wrote a song about it called My Grandfather's Clock, which is still well known to this day. There's other mysterious things at the George. One of the guest rooms is said to be haunted by a jilted bride who hung herself on a wedding day. An apparition of a woman in white has been seen in the room, standing over the bed. Voices have also been heard in the bar area long after customers have left. The George made us feel really welcome, and we had a delicious breakfast, and then after that we took a wander to the Piercebridge Roman Bridge. At the end of the car park, the opposite end to where we parked, there's some steps which takes you up over the wall and onto the track down to the bridge.
Good morning. It is Sunday morning. We stayed over at the George Hotel in the car park last night. It was beautiful. There was some really spectacular thunder and lightning storms overnight and really heavy rain, but it was still a peaceful and quiet night. This morning Roxy and I are going to go for a little explore, so come with us on our trip. At the end of the car park there was a little notice board sign that said that there was a Roman bridge down this way. I didn't even know there was a Roman bridge that existed in this area, so Rox and I are going to go and have a little explore and see if there's anything to see there.
The path's temporarily closed while they do some tree works to make sure it's safe. It's about a 5-minute walk from the car park down to the Roman Bridge.
You can see the River Tees just across the field there. Here we are at the Piercebridge Roman Bridge.
The bridge was built originally to bring Deer Street across the River Tees to the Roman fortress in Piercebridge, and it's one of only a few remaining visible bridge sites left in the country. I honestly am gobsmacked. I had no idea that this was here and it even existed, and I know Piercebridge really, really well. What's really incredible is if you look at the size of the stones that were actually made to build the bridge, each of those stones is absolutely huge. How on earth would they have got them, one, here, and two, stack them up to go across the river? That's unbelievable.
The river's moved a bit that way now, but that's where the river used to flow through.
So we're in the village of Piercebridge now, where we stayed in the car park of the George pub. What's really nice about Piercebridge is there's a Roman fort that we've been to before, which is really interesting to look around. To get to the fort, you come to the middle of the village and you just turn up this little lane here. It's only a couple of minutes walk. And this is the way. It's just a quick look around because we have done this before when we went to Bowlam. You can actually get to see the fort from a couple of other directions. So behind me there's a little path and you can see the bridge that leads to the George. And if you turn around this way, this leads back into Piercebridge Village and you can come from this side as well. And you can walk all the way through the fort from one side to the other. Piercebridge centres around a lovely open village green, and apparently part of the fortress is still underneath the green, which hasn't been excavated. There's a beautiful church behind us. Right at the end of the village there's another pub there. That's more of a foodie type pub. Some really picturesque houses and cottages. There is actually also an organic farm, shop and butchery, which is just over in the corner here. Carry on the theme of reminiscing, we have now come just a little bit outside Piercebridge to a garden centre called Sam Turner and Sons. This is where I spent many hours as a child. My mum used to own the garden centre here. Obviously it wasn't called Sam Turner's then, it was called Plants. Years ago, before it was a garden centre, it used to be a market garden, and we used to grow chrysanthemums in the winter and lettuces in the summer. When Mum moved, she went to live in France, she sold the garden centre, and we still come here now. In fact, there is a memorial bench here for my mum. Sam Turner's itself is just amazing. You know, the guys here have really renovated it and done quite a bit to it. So it reminds me of open all hours. If there's anything you want, you will find it here. It's got everything. It's got plants, it's got, well, you can see here, there's all building materials, there's compost, there's wire, there's fences, you name it. We're going to go and take a quick look around. There's also a cafe. We might see if we can have something to drink when we come in here. And here I am today in the village of Melsonby, which is a really small village, population of about 1,200. It's a beautiful village, which is a farming community. And you might ask, why are we here today? We're here because this place actually means so much to me. My dad and my uncle were born here. My gran and granddad lived here as well. I'll show you their house later on. But more importantly, the church here means so much to me. My granddad used to look after the grounds when I was little, and my gran used to look after the church inside, cleaning and making sure that the hymn books and everything were all done. So on a weekend, it was really special for us when we used to come and stay with Gran, and she would get the big key and we would come along to the church and we'd be able to go in, we'd be able to play the organ, have a look around, and on really nice days we used to scale up the tower and look out over the stunning views. It was just such a great magical thing to do when I was young, and I haven't been for probably 20 odd years, and I thought it was time that I came back and had a little look and see if it is like I remember. So let's go and take a look. It's funny, isn't it, when you haven't been to somewhere for such a long time, and when you come back, everything looks the same still, but feels a little bit different. When I came here a few weeks ago, when I did the filming up the actual tower itself, it was a red hot day. Today it's not quite so, and you might wonder why I've come back again. We lost the footage. So the only footage that we've got to show you is pictures that I've taken from my camera, which I'm really sorry about. I did capture quite a few pictures as I scaled up the tower. Not quite the same, I know, but I did want to come back to give you the context to why this place is so important to me. It just means so much, and coming back is great. It's really good. Let's see if we can get inside. Oh great, the door's open. Feels a bit different. When I came before to film for you, the post office was here, so every Friday between 10 and 12 o'clock there's a coffee morning, and there's a post office comes, and all of the villagers come and do all of their banking and stuff with the post office. I'll quickly show you inside. So when we came here with my gran, we used to play on this organ. Also as well, when my dad was young, him and my Uncle Alan used to have the job of actually pumping the bellows on this organ to make it work. And they used to pump this handle to get the air into the organ. How things have changed, eh? It's just beautiful. You might be able to see up there above me, there's a little archway. When you climb up the tower to have a look out at the top, you actually pass that, and it's a doorway, and you can look through and come and look out on the church. It's really spectacular. Unfortunately, we can't go up the tower again today. You have to do that by appointment only, and I was really lucky last time that because I came when the cafe and the coffee morning was on and the post office was here, the guys came and met me and took me up to the top of the tower. It was really interesting. We looked at the bells, and obviously because we've lost the footage you won't be able to see that, but the bells were absolutely brilliant. When I came away the bells were ringing, which was just beautiful. Let's see if we can go and have a look at the actual tower itself now. The view from up there is absolutely spectacular, especially on a clear day. You can see for miles and miles and miles. This place is just so special. It's really nice sometimes to just come back and have a look and a reflect. We're just going to have a little wander through the village now. You can see the church behind us, and we're just going to walk through the village, and we're going to come to my gran's house in a minute. The house behind me with the archway and the brown door, that was my gran's house. And there is a village green. David always used to laugh at me because I'd said to him that on a weekend when I came here, that they used to be playing kites, and David didn't know what kites was. And me trying to explain kites to David was hilarious. I was like, well, there's some mud and you get some metal horseshoes and you have to throw the horseshoes over the mud. I don't think I did it much justice, to be honest with you, but never mind. So here's a village green. Just behind me you can see where the kites are still played to this day. So that was a little bit different to normal, and we'd been in the area to have a look around, and it kind of set me off on a bit of a train of reminiscing and going to the George, etc. So it was really nice to go back and see what it was like. What did you think of the George?
I thought it was fantastic. And do you know what? You can't whack a free stopover at a pub, but please, if you go, make sure you support them. Some of the pubs are struggling, you know, pubs, hotels, inns, all of those things are struggling a little bit at the moment. And us as the, you know, camper vanning, camping, motorhoming community can really support, make a difference. And it's a cracking place to go. It was lovely, absolutely lovely breakfast. We'll definitely go back and try an evening meal. But it was absolutely brilliant.
It was really good to go back. I think it's worth pointing out that the George at Piercebridge isn't on any of the pub stopover sites, and I actually rang ahead and asked if we could go there. They said, yeah, fine, it's no problem at all. And another camper van did come while we were there. So please, if you fancy, if you're in the area, it's a really good location to stay at, so give them a buzz and see if you can stay over.
There's a link in the description, as well as always, to the George website, so you can get in touch with them, and the contact details are on there as well.
Interesting place to look around, food gorgeous, stuff amazing, brilliant.
A lovely bit of history as well.
Definitely.
Thank you for watching.
Hope you've enjoyed it.
And we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.